We'll start off a little Monday Night Football recap where the Steelers took it to the Giants in the second half for a 26-18 victory. Russ looked good yet again.
9-9 going into the half. It could have been a lot uglier than that early
because the touchdowns got taken off the board, numerous ones. So
the toe tap twice by George Pickens, and Twitter was
only Pickens.
Twitter was up in arms about this, but I thought it was like right when I saw it, I was like, oh, he 1 foot in, and then you go watch the replay, he taps it twice, and Kate, my wife, is like, well, one knee is a touchdown, right? And 2 feet is a touchdown. Does it have to be the same foot? It's one of these rules where, do you guys think they could change it?
I can't remember where I've seen that before, but for some reason I knew that rule as soon as it happened. I was like, 1 foot twice doesn't actually count. Because I think it's actually because of a toe drag is why it is, because people will double tap the toe on a toe drag sometimes.
Well, it's always been to get 2 feet down.
But it's always been you needed to get the second,
That is actually funny as it relates to here, because we used to have a guy, remember John Beeson, who played last
Yeah.
Well, he worked here, and we're all in the green room watching on a Sunday, and a guy got his right foot down twice, and he's like, touchdown! And we're like, no, John. And he goes, oh, no, it's touchdown. He goes, right. And I go, right. I go, how many years did you play in the league? You don't know you got to get 2 feet down. So right became a thing. Funny. It took that long for it to come back, but there it was last night.
I just think it's so awesome because we have talked at length about this Pittsburgh Steelers team. And obviously at the top, you got Mike Tomlin, who year after year has his team ready to play. Defensive side of the ball is not something that you question, but it's that offensive side of the ball that we had question marks about. There was deliberation about the quarterback position with Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. Russell comes in, shows immediate upgrade with the explosive nature of the plays down the field last week. You get him back this week.
Moonballs.
It's a moonball effect, and it's now not even just the deep balls that are moonballs, but it's like those medium intermediate throws that look like he's got that touch on it that he has trademarked over the course of his career. And the involvement of George Pickens. When you've got a guy that's that talented, you need to find a way to get him engaged. Kudos to them. They've got this guy engaged. The Steelers are a real problem now.
Yeah, I loved towards the end of the third quarter, he goes deep to Roman Wilson. It was actually a great ball. Went incomplete. Very next play, he goes, or actually I think there was a penalty in between, but then very next play, he goes deep to Van Jefferson and completes one down
on the right side.
Yeah,
that was. I mean, that wasn't a good throw though.
That was.
He made a great play on
a vertical route. It is all about width, not necessarily depth. If you put the ball on the sideline,
that's an accident.
That was on the sideline.
That's an accident. The kid made a great play on it.
It was a great play.
It was the back
but
shoulder.
If you put it on the sideline and put it on the wide receiver's leverage, it doesn't matter if it's completely in stride or slowing him down a little bit. Chances are he's going to be
right. It's not throwing it out of bounds, but it's not. That's an
It's
accident.
called giving your guy a chance.
It's called an accident.
Paid to the receiver.
It's called an accident. It's called an accident. Now the throw to Austin was fantastic.
Well, and the throw to Pickens in the fourth quarter was also just that one.
Yeah, he made a couple good throws. It took him a while to get going, but let's slow the roll here a little bit. I mean, the Giants give up the worst run defense in the league, 5.4 per rush heading into that game. Their secondary was down 2 guys. When they played the Jets, their secondary was down 2 guys. And so let's see him go out on the road against a good defense and show me more.
Are the Commanders good defense next week? They're
playing better. That'll be in 2 weeks.
They're really well coached, I'll say.
Get you. So they have Commanders. They have bye, then Commanders, then Ravens, then Browns. Browns will be the first, that's a good defense.
Yeah, because the Ravens aren't good on defense either.
Ravens, obviously, their pass defense struggle. So I will say that's a tough gauntlet for them going forward. You're going to find out a lot about where they should stand in the AFC playoff picture with those 3 games. But
I worried about their defense a little last night. The defense, I mean, it wasn't awful, but up until the fourth quarter, when did Watt get his first sack? Was that in the fourth quarter?
Yep. Well, he had 2, so he got 1 in the 4 on. He got
the sack fumble,
ghost rush on Jermaine,
and he got the sack fumble. And
their corners looked overmatched. I mean, they were getting beat by Neighbors, Slayton.
If Neighbors had a bad day, otherwise,
Neighbors. If you would have caught some balls,
is the pronunciation Illuminor?
Illuminor.
So Jermaine Illuminor essentially was before the game, and I give credit to anybody with this kind of confidence, but when you say I want to be on an island with TJ Watt, I mean you're asking for problems. There's certain guys that you don't want to ruffle their feathers, and I don't think a guy like TJ Watt or his brother JJ needed any extra motivation to go out there and be dominant. So,
but it took him a while to get going.
Lesson to offensive linemen, just
less
is more.
But he didn't have a sack in the 2 games before that. It took him a while to get going in this game. And you're right. The secondary looked like it had problems. You give up the gash run to Tracy. I mean, come on, that was terrible.
I'll just say this though about the Steelers. Russell Wilson, again, everyone thinks he fell off. I think he just went to situations where it wasn't who he was. This is an offense now that fits his strengths. It's the play action, downfield. It's not asking him to be a quick passing game like it was under Sean Payton, and it's not asking them to run the worst offense in the NFL like they did under Nathaniel Hackett. I mean, it's like no one was going to succeed under Nathaniel Hackett.
And I think we got to hold off on giving home games against bad defense.
We can't argue this. The Steelers are more engaged. Najee Harris is running like a man possessed now when he gets opportunities to do so.
Yeah, but so why is that an indictment of the player who wasn't engaged when the other guy was playing?
No, I think that they have an issue on the offensive side of the football. They're kind of like the forgotten land there in Pittsburgh because their defense is something that you can rely on. So you can count on it week in, week out.
You talk about them being engaged more now.
Engaged, like Najee Harris thinks he has a chance to make huge plays that could help his football team win. George Pickens knows that Russell Wilson will give him a chance.
That mentality.
Van Jefferson is making plays on the sideline that I haven't seen before.
Were they moping around before that?
They could have been, yeah.
That's an indictment of them as a player then.
And that's what we've said on this show time and time again. We've talked about the inability to have that connection with your most talented players on your roster. Body language, performance, effort at times with Pickens we saw not doing the things that you're coached to do. But now you get Russell Wilson, you have a chance. And it pisses me off too, Pete.
It infuriates the hell out of me.
It pisses me off too. But
it does. There's a lot of laziness going on in the NFL. You put the tape on and you guys watch the tape. There is a lot of lazy play in this league, a lot of lazy play. And it infuriates me.
I do think
I'm tapping out. I'm tired.
Why? You don't want to say it. You don't want to say
Anthony Richardson. I'm tired.
Yeah, well, I'm tired.
We didn't even talk about this.
I'm tired. But I mean, just watch the tape and watch guys backside blocks. Don't finish them anymore. You think somebody's going to make a tackle, so I'm not going to run over there. Then you end up being the guy that needs to make the tackle and you're out of position all around the league. And if I'm a coach and I put that on, I'm putting that on every day on the film. And I'm saying, here you are, buddy. Hey, Tyreek, this wasn't just you at the end of the game. You didn't do this, this, and this, or you didn't play hard. You didn't run after the play. Finish your damn blocks. As an offensive lineman, doesn't it infuriate you that they don't finish their blocks?
Yeah. And I mean, there were definitely plays where I didn't finish my blocks either, Pete. And, some circumstances
finish your damn block, Lyle.
I'll tell you what. I got the opportunity to cross paths with Olin Kreutz in Chicago, and I have the utmost respect for Olin Kreutz. And one thing that he preaches is always being around the ball or your quarterback or the running back. Whoever got tackled, you got to be the first guy there to pick them up. So they know that they can count on you. You're their protector. And also it just sends a message to that defense. I feel like part of that is lacking in the NFL. You can look around at some clubs in the league that have that old school way about them. I watch Indianapolis every week. Quentin Nelson's the first guy around the ball carrier to pick them up. I wish we could see more of that in the league, and I think it'll lend itself to that old school style of football.
Yeah, but okay, as an offensive lineman, when the play side is going to the left and you're the backside, got a cutoff block. Get it.
Well,
do it.
Not
Finish
only that,
and get to the next level.
That's the most important block in the play. The backside blocks
and
are the ones that spring you from 5 yards to 50 yards.
And how many times do you put on tape? You see guys half leaning into that block. I might get him, I might not. And look for something to hit. Hit something.
You never know when your block, when your effort, when your little bit of charisma is going to be the thing that brings you guys from a play that doesn't work to a play that's explosive. You could end up on SportsCenter tonight if you work a little bit harder. You never know when you're going to be that guy.
And by the way, I'm not singling out the offensive lineman here because it's everybody. There's a lot of lethargic, lazy play, and coaches need to point it out.
I think it's some bit of the more games we get in a season, the little more of that we'll get. If we just go from 17 games, 18 games, 19 games, you're probably going to get more and more.
Well, it's that middle part of the season. It's like weeks 1 through 3, you see guys flying around with their hair on fire, and then you settle into the flow of the game. Things kind of slow down for you, and then towards the end of the season, things pick up again when you're in the race.
Intensity.
Meaningful football, and then you get into the playoffs, it ratchets up again.
But I'm saying more as a play to play type of situation.
Yep. Oh, I hear what you're saying.
You see it.
Yep.
You watch it.